over on Instagram, I've had so many people there request that I share my beef and barley stew recipe. I'm so excited today to be finally bringing you into the kitchen with me to share this hearty stew packed with vegetables. You're gonna love it. Our family enjoys this soup all through fall and winter, and right now I have so many harvested garden veggies to bring in. I can't wait to chop them up and throw them in this stew. So come along with me today and I'll show you one of my favorite soups that your family will love. It's hearty, packed with flavor, and delicious. Hi, I'm Emily from the blog Handmade Farmhouse, where I share weekly tips, recipes, seasonal decor, and decor DIYs. I cannot wait to continue to share with you all throughout the upcoming season where we have the holidays, and I hope that you will stick around and subscribe so that you can learn, hopefully, something new each week as I share. Okay, so getting started, what we're gonna do is prep our meat. I am very picky about the meat that I use, especially the beef. I really mostly buy it from a local butcher shop, but I do love a lot of what Kirkland has to offer. And I especially love this beef for stew meat that they already have pre-cut. They do cut it in pretty large pieces, so what you can do when you get this is you can actually cut each piece in half and double the amount that you have, because you're still left with really big chunks. If you don't want to do that, it's no big deal. I've definitely used it as is, and you still get nice big pieces that will shrink down a little bit as it simmers. But we're gonna go ahead today and cut each of these pieces in half, and then I'll show you how to get it seared in a pan so that we kind of add a little bit of extra flavor to the beef before we get simmering. Okay, so look at this. I have cut only half of that amount of meat in half on this, and this is more than enough for our family to have a full big pot of beef stew tonight. So I'm going to season this with some Himalayan pink salt. That's the salt we've been using lately, and I absolutely love it. I've also seasoned it with some onion and garlic powder. And we are going to go and heat up our pan with some butter and olive oil and put this in to get a nice seared crust on it. Okay, so let's come over here and we're gonna prep our pan. Go ahead and just turn on the heat to about medium high. We'll take the lid off here. I have sprayed the inside with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil, and I'm gonna do about a half of a tablespoon of butter in there too. And we're gonna let that get really hot before we put the meat in, so that when we do put it in, it will get a nice seared crust on it. And then we're gonna go ahead and let each side of it get browned. And then we'll go ahead and add a few other ingredients so that it can get simmering and get really tender over several hours. Okay, as you can see, the meat is all browned. It is very tough right now at this point because all of the fluids have come out of it and are in the bottom of the pan. That's gonna make for great flavor for the stew. But I'm also gonna add 2 packets of this gravy au jus, and we're gonna put it right in here so that some of those juices kind of get sucked up in this gravy. And it's actually gonna help us put a brown, delicious coating on this meat before we put it in the crock pot to simmer. Check that out, doesn't it look so good already? So we've turned the heat off in this pan, and now what we're gonna do is transfer that meat over to our crock pot. And I have poured 2 boxes of beef broth in this crock pot, and now I'm gonna add the meat into it. The meat is now in the crock pot, and you really wanna make sure that you get all of the brown bits and goodness out of the pan and into here, because that's where all of that flavor is gonna be. And now we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on this and let it sit on high heat for 4 hours. And I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's gonna be so worth it. I just came out to the garden, gonna harvest some of these gorgeous carrots.
and some corn and peas and green beans to use in our stew.
Okay, you guys, this meat has been simmering in the crock pot with the lid on high for about 4 hours. And I am gonna show you a little trick so that you can tell when it for sure is done. Look how easy that is for me to cut through. It's almost like a slow roasted like a Sunday crock pot roast with a pot roast. Look at how tender that is. And this meat is even gonna get an extra about 45 minutes more simmering because we're gonna add some vegetables in, so it's gonna be that much more tender. So let's go ahead and transfer all this broth and meat back into our soup pot so that we can add vegetables and get everything simmering in there. And then we're gonna thicken it up with some cornstarch so it really turns into that delicious stew. It's gonna be so yummy. One of my favorite things about this soup is being able to use a bunch of my vegetables from my garden. So today I'll be able to use peas, carrots, corn, and some green beans that I had froze about a month ago. So those should be really good. And then I might even throw in some of our squash. I usually don't add that, but I think it'd be really good. And then we're gonna add in some barley as well. It's gonna be really hearty, healthy, and packed with flavor. Vegetables have simmered until the potatoes are tender, and this stew is looking hearty and delicious. I will add all of the ingredients and measurements in the recipe in my blog post on handmadefarmhouse.com. But I hope that you love this recipe. I think your family will especially love it during the fall and winter months. It is healthy and hearty and a great way to use up your garden vegetables. Enjoy.